Thank you. When we talk about politics, we certainly, as students of political science, we talk about power and the situation as Ambassador Termes said, it reached rock bottom. It's because there is a problem with the way power is perceived and power is used. So there is excessive perception of power in some parts of the region and internationally. Maybe that's why the US, led by new cons, invaded Iraq. And there is also excessive perception of weakness, so lack of power. So these are the two conflicting perceptions play a major role in what we see. Sometimes you think, and they are interlinked, fear. I mean, most of what we see is a result of fear. There are a lot of people who are fearful. Iranians are fearful as others, and most of what we see is explained by fear and sometimes the imaginable excessive power feeling. So, but I would start by saying, why do politics fail? Why do politics? We use politics to solve problems, but because it lacks the human dignity part. Human dignity is not considered when political negotiations taking place. It just takes a backseat. Once you have a human dignity part in it, then it is human dignity, human rights for that matter, is good for business. It's excellent for business, but just people don't see it. We are in so-called West Asia, so that makes us Western. So are we? So it's Western. So we are Western. So we hate the West, but we are Western. For the Sunni Shia issue, I have some of my students in Kuwait. They said we are not Sunni, not Shia. We decided to call ourselves sushi. Yeah, it's healthy and it's good for business. It's not from West Asia, but we can work on the geography. The other side, which we have also discussed over, because we had real good dose of information and perspectives, and that this region, maybe other regions as well, you can think of, it's been endowed or doomed by underestimated leaders, starting with Saleh, Ali Abdullah Saleh, Hosni Mubarak, and even Nouri al-Maliki in Iraq. These are all underestimated leaders. They came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, they were kings. So if we want to look at India in the GCC, India doesn't need to explain itself. India is there, and people take India very lightly and with love. So I heard a lot of things that, how do we do? No, you don't need to do much. It's well accepted, it's well received and well liked. And just the earlier session, I had a gentleman who said that it is linked to Pakistan. No, it's not linked to Pakistan. It has nothing to do with Pakistan. In the region, India is accepted per se by itself, and it's easy to deal with the region without really a problem. It's not until things is accommodated with Pakistan. The GCC, if we want to talk about the GCC, is being able to deal with India and Pakistan on their own in different terms. But so we have the political. If we want to look at the region, we have the political side, we have, if we wanted to look at it from the political side, or from the humanitarian side, which is highly neglected. Now, from the humanitarian side, let me just give you some numbers. Now we are getting into the worst humanitarian crisis on world scale. That is close to aftermath of the Second World War. We're talking here about 60 million refugees. This is the worst that could ever happen. And business as usual, as if this nothing happened. Things are moving without really feeling the magnitude of this issue. Out of those, not all of them, but we have a striking number, scary number. It's 14 million children out of school in 5 Arab countries, excluding Somalia. 14 million. Those are the best investments for extremism. If they don't go back to school soon, then we are talking about extremism is multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. So right to education, that is totally neglected. People are not investing a lot in this matter at all. So this is just, I'm trying to be very brief on this. The political side, yes, now, Saudi-Iranian relationship deteriorated lately. The manifestation of this, Saudi cut relationship, they withdraw their ambassador, and another country, Gulf country, which is Bahrain, withdraw its ambassador. And then Sudan, Djibouti, Comoros. They say Djibouti doesn't have an Iranian ambassador. I don't know who they kicked out. I don't know. But that's what they say. I don't know if they have. But just let's remember, just a few months back, that makes us 2 GCC countries putting their ambassadors. Within the Gulf, inner Gulf problem, GCC, 3 GCC countries withdrew their ambassadors from another GCC country. So it was larger. Qatar, Saudi, Bahrain, and UAE withdrew their ambassadors from Qatar. So the crisis inside the GCC was larger in terms of number. Here we have only 2 GCC countries, which will push us to the possibilities. And I agree. I don't call myself optimist, but realist. And I can see things is going. They have to go in the right direction. They have to go to pick up. But there is an issue of warning here. What caused the problem that we have is the existing regimes. So if they are coming back with the same mindset, we will have another problem again. There has to be a change of mindset. There have to be rethinking of the whole governance paradigm. Justice, democracy, human rights, and all these things. If that is not being taken seriously, we are going to have power politics will play again and take us back into the issue. Then if you look at it from the terrorism issue, I always said, at least this is my opinion, when the ISIS, ISIL, IS, Daesh, whatever, we have to find a name actually. And I'm talking here, I'm not being sarcastic, but I'm just saying that when the number one person of the strongest country on earth keep calling it ISIL, and somebody else call it ISIS, also officials, it means that there is a disagreement of who is those people. And if there is disagreement, there is a problem of tackling the issue. There is no seriousness of tackling the issue. If they are serious, they agree on a name. If you don't agree on the name, then ISIS will stay because it has a different name. So you dismantled ISIS, but ISIL is still alive. You dismantled ISIL, but IS is still alive. So this has to do with, so I'll give you one quick example of my long work on Somalia. Somalia has a group, Islamist group called Islamic Courts, and they took over Mogadishu for 6 months, and it was an alliance between business people and those Islamists, and Ethiopia got in and kicked them out, and things became different, and they went into the wonder of Somalia. Then came politics. So political order. United States decided to come and negotiate. So they negotiated with the Islamic court in Djibouti, which I don't know whether it has an Iranian ambassador or not, but that's beyond the issue. So they had started negotiating, and they enlarged the parliament, and guess what? The president became the president of the Islamic court, became the president of Somalia. Then a small group, which is equivalent, it's connected more to Al-Qaeda, but it's close to Daesh. It's called Al-Shabaab al-Mujahideen. They said, no, we don't accept that. So they went and they started fighting. At the moment, Al-Shabaab in their weakest point. They are not accepted in the whole of Somalia. They have something to say that there is a foreign intervention, yes. The spending in the military, there is a peacekeeping force, African keeping force, mostly composed of Ugandan and Burundi and some other groups. Annually, they cost $1 billion a year. 60% comes from the EU and 30% from the US and 10% from other sources. You know what $1 billion could make for Somalia? It could really transform it totally. And that is spent only on keeping security. There is another catch, which you might see in the future. It looks like a fairy tale, but Somalia, with all its destruction, I think, and I'm working on a paper now. I call it as much as we have in economics. We say there is a Dutch disease. They call it Dutch disease. It has nothing to be with the Dutch, but anyway, it's Dutch disease. So I developed a theory saying there is a Somali disease, Somali syndrome. Somalia has been dismantled and disintegrating since '91, since the fall of the regime of the dictator Mohamed Ziyad Barre. So it kept deteriorating and disintegrating. Everybody was watching. And not only watching, they were injecting, and they were supporting this, supporting that, and guns come from everywhere. Then the Somali syndrome now is exported to other countries. So now we have Libya, we have Iraq, we have Syria, and they are all exported. And then you have also South Sudan, which is also another. There is a need to get into understanding that there is a vacuum, there is a need to work on the terror side. Yes, I agree that ISIS, ISIL, IS, Daesh, whatever, is a threat to all, and that might be a case to start with, and then try to go further and defeat it. And its defeat is not really difficult. Its defeat starts with deciding a name at the beginning. Which one are we fighting? Are we fighting ISIS or ISIL or IS or Daesh? When we decide on that name, then that means somebody is serious. But as long as everybody on official side, on military side, they are still using different names for the same thing, then there is no serious work on the ground. Thank you very much.